Hello, everyone, and welcome in once again to IceCats Insider. I'm the voice of the IceCats, Tom Callahan, joined here this week by head coach Gary Graham as we wrap up a really busy week for this Pee Dee IceCats team. There were 4 games, 5 days, now a big weekend series coming up against the Monroe Moccasins. Gary, let's take a look back through this week. You could even be forgiven because of how important and how huge the weekend sweep of Columbus was if you kind of forgot about Wednesday in Athens a little bit. But there were 4 games this week, and it was a very busy week for this team.
Well, we didn't want to forget about Wednesday. None of us were happy with Wednesday's game. It was a tough film session for the guys, looking about how bad we were defensively, how badly we were cheating, the game in terms of our structure, and trying to get away with stuff against a good Athens team that you just frankly can't do. And, the team really bought in this past week into the back check, to stop it on pucks, to playing the game defensively the way you got to play it against a good Columbus team. So that was probably what I was most proud of. We generated a ton of scoring chances in Athens, as you know. I mean, multiple breakaways, multiple crossbars. We could have easily scored more than 3 goals that game. But again, our defensive hockey was terrible. So we didn't deserve. I don't care. We could have probably scored 6 goals like Twin City did yesterday against them in there. But we still probably would have lost 7-6 because we just frankly didn't deserve to win the game, because defensively we were just cut too many corners. So the guys really did a great job without any practice time. Just had to go through video because I gave them a day off on Thursday to get rested, to turn it around quickly and find their defensive game. And really all 3 games I thought were very sound defensively. We didn't give up a lot of grade A chances all weekend.
When you were going through the video session with these guys, and as you mentioned, you haven't had a lot of practice time with these guys, but I mean, what are some of the things that, you're reiterating and maybe, for folks who are kind of wanting to hear a little bit more of the X's and O's out there as far as the things that you as a coach are looking for?
I think on the positive side, you like to reinforce, the things offensively we're doing when we're possessing pucks, and how are we having our success? How are we generating our chances? Most of the time with the way our team's constructed, it's based on our speed, generating speed and support through the neutral zone to where we can try to carry the puck in as opposed to dumping the puck in. When we do a good job with that, we tend to end up with the puck more and are able to do our thing in the offensive zone. Also, the things on the negative side of things is defense starts actually in the offensive zone. A lot of fans probably can't grasp that, but essentially when the puck changes sides, we're in the offensive zone on offense, and then they get the puck in the defensive zone and they start going north. That's when the back check begins. That's when we call it tracking, and our D playing tight to the neutral zone and making sure our gaps are good through the neutral zone. That's really a big focus for us against these teams like Athens, Columbus, Monroe, all these teams that are very good off the rush. You have to be good in these areas of the ice. And when we're not good, we can stink it up with the best of them. And we were not good on Wednesday. And that's the reason why I think we gave up one of the worst nights. I think we gave up 45 shots on goal on Wednesday, which is very uncharacteristic of our club, just because we weren't sharp on our details. And it happens at times. I'll tell you, I told the boys, when you're going this long without any practice time, I'm not able to do kind of my fundamental drills that are kind of our core drills that reemphasize these things with the muscle memory, and you're reemphasizing those details as a coach on the ice in practice. You can kind of get away from it. And frankly, that Blue Ridge series on the road, we got away with it, but we were good enough to win those games. And then we tried to carry that kind of thing into that game on Wednesday, and we got bit in the butt.
Well, and you talk about that. I mean, even at points during this Columbus weekend, you do, by the way, come out with a huge 9 points against the team in front of you in the standings, and that is massive. But it really was back and forth, right? I like to talk about the pendulum of momentum. It swings back and forth. Both teams are going to have it on their side at some point during a hockey game. But, it feels like it just varied wildly at times, depending on which point of which game you would have checked in at.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I thought yesterday's game was a really good example of it. I mean, the tick for tack, back and forth, back and forth. The way that we responded, I thought, was really good. The bench was really positive. And it's even though they're tying the game and they keep tying the game, we had the lead to tie the game, however it happened. The good news is that we were generating scoring chances all weekend long. We could have had more goals every night. I mean, the shots on goal was wrong what the stat line said here on Friday night. The video instat, the professionals that cut the film, we actually had a season high 62 shots on goal on Friday night. So in a bunch of grade A chances, Babin just stood on his head. We probably could have had 6 or 7 goals on Friday night, but he played spectacular, hurt his hamstring because of these, 10 bell saves he was making, these acrobatic saves he was making to keep his team in those games. And then, of course, Wad made some unbelievable saves on Saturday. And then the new kid that they played, I thought played pretty well, made some big saves, when he came in on Saturday night as well as yesterday. So, we could have scored more, I thought, all 3 games. Our goalies played pretty good themselves.
Does it make you feel good knowing that when you look at Columbus, they're the team in front of you in the standings? I honestly, and this is the debate you can have with yourself, right? Was Columbus flat? Did they have a down weekend? Or was Pee Dee being that effective, whether it's on the forecheck or whether it's, tightening up through the neutral zone, that kind of thing? I mean, where does your opinion weigh in with that as to why? I mean, Columbus, yeah, they scored, they had their opportunities, and they were able to keep the games close. But boy, it just seemed like they didn't execute to their usual level, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I think, they've been a streaky team like us. Obviously they put together that season high. What was it? When we went in there, they had an 11 or 12 game win streak, and now, they're kind of a little bit off their game a little bit there. And, they're an older teams, maybe, this time of the year. They're also in a goofy place in the standings. They pretty much, as they've been locked into that 3rd spot for so long, where it's been us and Carolina have been significantly behind them. And then they're significantly kind of, I wouldn't say significantly, actually. I mean, but again, the Monroes and the Athens have, been ahead of them the whole year. And I think sometimes you can kind of get a little complacent when you're in that kind of nowheresville, it makes you comfortable, but you're not really hyper competitive, maybe to be scared enough to maybe not execute. We're in that mode, like we're in the desperation mode. And I think that's what you're seeing from Carolina yesterday, to come from almost behind, down 6-2 in Athens and almost tie the game up. We're having to play a different type of game than Columbus this time of the year. It's a pure desperation mode. So, that could be, what it is. We know Boomer's a heck of a coach, and Jeff's done a great job with that organization over there. And they got tons of seasoned guys over there, and, they're going to find their game. Trust me, they're not happy with their game. They'll get back to work. And I feel bad. I don't know who they're playing this weekend, but they're going to be probably really good this upcoming weekend after the results they had. And, I told our guys after Friday night, where we really controlled the game pretty easily, I said, this is the Columbus team that is going to be a lot better. Expect them to be. And they were on Saturday night. And then even again, yesterday, the game was, back and forth. So, we have a lot of respect for Columbus as an organization. They're a good hockey club. And I'm just proud of our guys to be able to get 3 wins.
Gary, I'm just looking at the standings, and now Pee Dee's magic number is 14 points. Given the way everything went with Twin City over the weekend, Pee Dee at 72, Twin City at 58. So Columbus is 15 points ahead. Now, mind you, I realize we're running out of real estate on games here, but it's not mathematically impossible that you could end up in 3rd. I mean, it would take a lot. Let's not kid ourselves. It would take a lot. But I mean, this run that Pee Dee's been on here, I mean, you're 7-2-1 in the last 10, really since January. And the point I want to illustrate is how much better it feels like this team has really gotten. Like things have really started to come together here down the stretch, and hopefully at the right time.
Well, our goaltending has been a big part of that. More consistent goaltending, obviously all the transactions that we've made, I think, have been great for the team. We brought in good hockey players, but also really good culture guys into the room. And again, like that's what we talk about. Like, at the beginning of the year, it was going to be a process for me with the roster and what this league is, kind of seeing how it works, what doesn't work, what type of players are going to work in the system that I want to run and how we can have success against these teams that we play all the time, these awesome organizations like Columbus and Athens and Carolina. You've been in the finals 3 straight years. You're playing these teams all the time. What's it going to take as a first-year team to be able to compete with them? And thank God I've got great owners that have given me the resources to be able to make trades and do things, to make the team better. Obviously, some of the deals we've moved players, but some of the bigger moves that we made, there was definitely financial cash considerations involved to where, if you don't have an ownership group that's willing to spend some money sometimes to help you out to make your team better, you're stuck with what you got. And, that's the one thing that I'm blessed to have is the tools and resources to make the moves that have been able to help us to be a better hockey club. But then, of course, you got the guys in the room. I mean, we're nothing without those guys buying in, executing the game plan, playing a good team game. And then, of course, we have a lot of individually talented players, letting them kind of let the cream rise to the top. And you've seen a lot of that lately with, some of our guys, Dennis Zychek, 4-point night, Patty has been outstanding lately. Lakoff finally scored last night after all the chances that kid's been generating lately. You see Frolov has just been on fire lately. We're getting offense now from our D-core, Mags, Hamilton, Xavier. It's kind of coming from all areas. Robo, Elijah Wilson getting his first. So, you're seeing Pizzamendi getting his first. So you're starting to see now the vision for us to have more depth, to be a deeper team, to be able to compete with these teams has definitely helped.
Well, we talked about Elijah Wilson before the game on Sunday, and you told me, you're like, hey, he's going to get more ice time than he's ever gotten, and we're going to throw him out there and really see what he can do. Has just a gorgeous one-timer for the power play goal. I mean, even trying to work him in. And I do want to come back and talk about the top 6 here, but I want to focus on this third line, because it's been a bit of a revolving door this year, but it feels like now maybe you really are to the point where your depth is, hey, rolling 3 lines is not just a cliche, but it is becoming a true option.
It's rolling all 10 forwards. I mean, if you take a look, it was I had everybody playing with everybody on Sunday, and that was my whole thing. Is I told the guys before the game, like, listen, the lines are going to get jumbled. And sometimes forwards don't like that. But, when you got 10 really quality forwards in your lineup, you could do that. And you take a look how Robo scored his goal. He was out there on a line with Patty, there was mixed lines everywhere, and everybody was going because, we play an aggressive system, and it only works when we're playing with pace and our legs are underneath us. And having 4 games in 5 days, we wanted to keep everything, 40-second shift, fast, keep everybody rolling, keep everybody going. We were able to get, Betsy played on Friday night, but then we were able to get Pops in the next 2 games. So there's a little bit more fresh legs there. We rested Gullo on Saturday night, to get some more fresh legs in there. So he came back Sunday fresh. We sat Dom on Sunday, able to get some fresh legs in there. So, the whole thought process was we knew that we had this 4 and 5, weeks ago, and how hard it was going to be. That's where, again, the trade deadline comes in. Our roster management, which Nick has done a good job with, allows me to have this type of depth to be able to keep rolling quality players in and out to be able to play with the pace that we need to play with. And I'll be honest, Tom, I've coached in a lot of 4 and 5s in the ECHL, and that Sunday game is usually boring as you can imagine. Your team is just like on fumes, not this team. That Pee Dee IceCat team yesterday was buzzing the entire game. It's a credit to the guys and how they take care of their bodies. It's a credit to Orange Theory, one of our partners. It's a credit to McLeod Health and Fitness, where the guys work out at. It's a credit to Integrative Chiropractic Services that takes care of the guys. All of our sponsors that help these guys take care of their bodies. That was an unbelievable effort from a team playing their fourth game in 5 days.
Yeah, it really did take a lot to get everybody there, and especially at this point of the season. That's the other thing, Gary. Doing this in October is different from doing it in March.
Yes, exactly. The guys got some miles on the tread, and that's why again it was nice to get some guys in and out of the lineup and keep things fresh. And again, you're giving guys opportunities. It's competitive right now. I told the guys, now I'm thinking to myself, what's the lineup going to be for these big games against, Monroe Friday? Guys, their job is to make my decision difficult. Are you in the lineup? Are you not in the lineup? Are you on the power play? Or are you off the power play? Their play is going to be indicative of my decisions typically. And, that lineup that went there yesterday was very impressive.
We're going to take a quick break right now on IceCats Insider. We're here with head coach Gary Graham. When we come back, want to talk a little more about the top six, what's going on with the forwards. We're also going to look ahead. Monroe coming to town. The Moccasins in second place in the Continental Division. There is plenty for us to cover, so stay tuned. We're back with more in a moment.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. From the first bite to the last bite, that bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, you have those three things together, and it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Dal Massimo Ristorante Italiano, where culinary passion meets the art of hospitality. Established in 2010, our restaurant was born out of a love for authentic flavors and a commitment to providing our guests with a memorable dining experience. At Dal Massimo, we believe that food is more than just sustenance. It's a celebration of culture and community. Whether you're here for a cozy dinner, a festive celebration, we look forward to serving you.
Gorget is a local craft distillery based in Lugoff, South Carolina, producing rum, vodka, whiskey, and bourbon in small batches. Founded in 2015 by 3 local gentlemen, Gorget has a fine line of handmade, local spirits. No matter what you desire, we have something for you. Isn't it about time you revolutionize your spirit? Visit us online at gorgetdistilling.com.
You're watching the IceCats Broadcast Network. This portion of today's broadcast is brought to you by Stanley Steamer. Stanley Steamer of Florence provides professional deep cleaning services and comprehensive care for a cleaner, healthier home. Butler's Men's Shop, your one-stop shop for men. Everything from tuxedos and suits to sportswear. We have it all. Integrative Health Solutions, your partners in health.
Back. Let's go. Out in London, that's my team. Slide through streets, help box some beans. In the streets, the life get crazy. Falling asleep, my eye get lazy. Ain't God on my side, it's forever. Don't come run if you dance with the devil. Ain't even through the rainy weather. Me and the brother, we stick together.
Don't know if I'm red or blue like Manchester. 12 of my boon that the phone up Leicester. Men got too many bars like a cliff. Tofi and Tommy, we doing it diff. Had to medicate, roll up a spliff. Ganja stank, I can't even sniff.
Open the scat with a wrist slip diff. Funny banter instead of
In the heart of Florence, South Carolina, discover Palmetto Smiles, where artistry meets advanced dental care, led by Dr. Brian Sang. Dr. Sang is a highly trained implant and cosmetic dentist, dedicated to transforming smiles with advanced techniques. He's committed to continuing education and bringing the latest methods to every patient. At Palmetto Smiles, comprehensive dentistry is under one roof: general care, restorative solutions, TMJ therapy, delivered with compassion. Ready for a healthier, more beautiful smile? Call 843-203-5155 or visit palmettosmiles.com. Dr. Brian Sang and his team can't wait to welcome you.
Ding dong.
Mountain dude?
The mountain is calling.
Give me a mountain. lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dream. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing mountain dew. Yeah, give me the sunshine, give me a dew.
Looking to score big with your printing? M&M Printing and Graphics is your hometown team. From flyers, business cards, and posters to vinyl graphics, banners, and outdoor signage, we do it all. Whether you're promoting your business, cheering on your team, or bringing your brand to life, we've got the players and the skills to make it happen. Visit mmpg.us or call 843-662-2412. M&M Printing and Graphics, the official printer of the Pee Dee IceCats.
The Pee Dee IceCats are lighting up the scoreboard, and Powers Properties is proud to be the official housing provider. Looking for an apartment? Powers Properties has you covered with modern apartments, convenient locations, and a team that puts you first. Just like the IceCats, we know what it takes to win, on and off the ice. Score big with Powers Properties. Relax, you are home.
Welcome back on IceCats Insider. Tom Callahan, head coach Gary Graham here with you. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're going to look ahead to that Monroe Moccasin series in just a little bit. But one of the things, Gary, I wanted to ask you, you said on Sunday you had everybody kind of rolling, all 10 forwards, and it wasn't so much that it was shuffling the lines. It was just, hey, keep everybody going out there, all 10 guys going. Did you see any combinations that either surprised you or maybe made you think, this is something I'm going to tuck away for a little later and might be relevant down the line?
Yeah, it's just, again, it's more about evaluating all these guys. Pizzamenti obviously still new Welshie first weekend with the team. Still trying to find a way of getting Robo going constantly. We know what he can do in his resume. And of course, then the first weekend, we really get to see Elijah Wilson. So, there's just a lot of different decisions that I have to make with when you get a lot of quality experienced guys as to who's going to be playing where, who's with who. And ultimately, it's we want guys playing down the stretch here for the front of the jersey, and I can't begin to stress that enough. We need, when you're playing down the stretch in all these important games and you're trying to get ready for playoffs too, is that we need guys buying in and playing the structure, buying in, being disciplined, buying in, not taking dumb penalties, buying in, staying off the refs, buying it, doing things that help the team, putting the team in front of yourself. All these type of things are what I'm looking for down the stretch with my guys. And I'm going to go with the guys that I can trust, in that lineup to do those type of things. Because again, when the stakes are high, I got to be able to trust those 10 forwards. I got to trust those 6D and those 2 goalies. So, how are you as a player earning my trust? That's really what it boils down to.
And to that end, you mentioned Frolov, a guy who I know earlier in the season, there was definitely high expectations on him coming in. Could be a big body, maybe could, play a physical game, create some space, as well as perhaps put the puck in the net, generate offense. And it's taken a little while to really see the fruition of that. But I think finally we're beginning to see the blossoming of Frolov into that kind of role.
We stuck with it, and I think, again, we were all disappointed, him especially, that it took him a little bit to get going. But, again, sometimes you just, it's my job to find certain players to maybe spark a guy. And it really happened, when we put him with Zajac and Leggy. And, they see the ice the same way. They kind of play the game the same way. And it really got Dennis playing better. And it got Fro playing better too as well. And of course, Leggy is just one of the most, if not the most dynamic player in the league. Obviously, if we got a few of them on our team, but the way that he plays and the way that he can, push teams back and create space just with his speed and his creativity. And then, you got, of course, Dennis, which is one of the best puck possession centermen in the league because he wins a lot of draws, and then the way he distributes the puck from the middle of the ice and makes his wingers better, really makes Fro and Leggy both better hockey players. The way he works the middle of the ice and just knows when to make the pass to those wingers, and he does a good job driving the net and making, again, more space for Fro and Leggy. So that's been a good line, and of course I played Patty with that line too, with Fro and Dennis, and that line always works really well too. So I've been playing around with some different things, but one thing that's been consistent is Fro playing with Zajac, and I think it's been a good combination.
Boy, and Zajac, you mentioned it, 4-point night, 2 goals, both on the power play, which is fantastic for him. But you love to see that guy get rewarded.
He's been, him and Teamer are like these, and our group because you're with us all the time, these quiet gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? They just go about their business. They just kind of, they're not loud. They're not braggadocious. They're just going to go out there. And as a coach, they are as consistent as you can ask to be. And, I try to tell these younger players, when I was in the ECHL all those years, everybody wants to get to the American League. And I would have these interviews with players behind closed doors. And I would have to tell them, like, when an NHL assistant GM would call me on one of my guys, one of the most common asked questions, Tom, is he consistent? It's not how fast is he? It's not what his release is like. It's not how's his toe drag moves. It's, is he in shape? Is he a good guy in the room? How's his prep? Is he a gym guy? Is he consistent day in, day out? That's what they want. And those two players, Teamer and Dennis, are probably our two most consistent guys day in, day out, the entire season.
That is something, too, that fans might not even think about this, but I mean, all the work that goes into what I'll call the job of playing hockey, right? I mean, these guys have to show up. They have to practice every day. They have to go to the gym. They have to, keep themselves mentally strong, physically strong. Like it's not, I mean, Gary, it's not like it used to be 20, 30 years ago, right? Where guys were, might still be, smoking a cigarette before a game or even during a game. It's different now.
Say it, I'm glad you did.
It's just different. Well, that's when I started way back in the day. I remember that was kind of the last vestiges of that. Those are the old school guys who were on their way out pretty much, but had come up in the 80s and the 90s and might still be grabbing a dart at intermission, and that's just not the way anymore.
No, the old guys, remember when guys would come into training camp in just terrible shape.
Right.
When's the last time you skated? I don't know, like last May. Now, guys, if you don't come in training camp in shape, you don't even make the team.
Yep. It's Terry Crisp one time, who Stanley Cup winning coach, Stanley Cup winning player. But when he was just getting into the NHL, he brought us a letter he got from the St. Louis Blues. And so this is for late 1960s NHL training camp. The letter said, among the following things, it said, make sure you bring your golf clubs because there is ample golf and recreation in the area. It said, please report to camp being able to do 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups and ride a bike for 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, geez.
That's what they were asking for. Can you imagine if a guy came in now only being able to do 10 push-ups and then play your way into shape for training camp? But that's, things have definitely changed.
Oh, 100%. Actually, as guys get older, this is, when I was an assistant coach, we had some older guys in Fort Wayne, and, during the season, like as you get older, you have to maintain your body even more because, naturally you have to try to keep up with these young kids. So you have to take even better care of your body the older you get.
Yep. Nutrition. And like I say, just getting enough rest, getting enough water in your body, just all those things. It's a lot different these days. So Gary Graham is our guest, head coach here of the Pee Dee IceCats. Gary, wanted to talk to, we're talking a lot about the offense here. Defensively, this D-core has gone through some changes. I mean, really looking at it from the beginning of the year to now, you really might need a program once again. If you just check back in and haven't looked at this team since before Christmas, there's a lot of new faces out there. And we'll talk about that. But my question to you is, when you were revamping the D, when you were redoing your blue line, did you want to change characteristics about the blue line, or was it just the pieces that you wanted to change?
It was more just the pieces. And of course, our system, you see how, we move on the cycle with our D. You see how we're trying to get them involved on the offense. You need certain type of D that see the ice, that can do those type of things. And so you're looking for those things throughout the season. That's why you trade for Del Civita. He's got a flair for the puck possession. He's got a good offensive eye for the game. He's a no-brainer. You bring in a Jake Hamilton. He's going to activate on the rush. He's got poise with the puck. He's going to try to find. He's not going to hard rim a puck. He's going to try to put a puck on a forward stick to make him a better hockey player. He's Xavier Abdella. His guys been a captain at this level, won a championship with Danbury, a lot of experience. Same thing. Knows how to play. With and without the puck. His confidence with the puck has really grown. He was never really known in Danbury, Tommy, as an offensive D. He was known as a shutdown D. Everybody kind of said offensively limited. Well, you see now what he's doing. He's playing now with confidence in our structure offensively. He's getting better by the day. And so, we're giving these guys the green light to do that. Now, of course, do we get bit in the butt sometimes with it? Yep, but we got to deal with that. But I'd rather create an environment where these guys are playing with a lot of confidence because, again, confident players can do special things.
Well, and I think that too, you can see that confidence. You talk about the goaltending getting better, but also that translates to the defensive side of things too. I mean, when your goaltender only has to make one save as opposed to 2 or 3 or 4, it gets scrambly in there. It makes a huge difference too. And obviously everybody looks better all the way around. And maybe having that little bit more veteran, you mentioned, Hamilton, veteran presence, Abdella, Charlie Bedard eats a lot of shots. We look at the Razilov. I mean, it's funny to hear guys talk about Teamer and they're like, oh, that's dad, but all of that stuff is so important to have on your back end.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got a good mix of everybody. I mean, I'm glad you brought up Bedsy because I think he's by far one of the best, if not the best shot blocking defenseman in the league. He's done an unbelievable job for us. And has been a big part of a lot of our wins, after the Christmas break. I can think of a bunch of times where it's been a tight game, a 1-goal game, and there's been a breakdown in the slot. And there's a grade A scoring chance on a good hockey player's stick, and he finds a way of getting a block to help our goalie out. And not only have our goalies been better since the Christmas break, but also, like I said, playing overall in front of them better. And again, our forward group, we know how talented it can be offensively, but, just getting them to fully buy into playing the proper way without the puck. That's a lot of times forwards are at this level for a reason. It's usually because of that. They're all offense and no defense. That's most of the time the way that the kind of the ladder works, and then of course for D, a lot of times it's differently. If you're at the single, as you move up, they want you to be more offensive. Not only do you have to play defense, but they want you to have an offensive flair to your game as you move up. So, I think we've got a good mix right now of D that are capable of defending, also helping us out offensively. And then, our forward group, they can create offensively. And again, they can also be, helping us out in the slot. They're getting better with their stick on puck details. Their back check has been getting better. Again, had an off night Wednesday night in Athens, but overall, again, I thought they responded well over the weekend.
Well, and we have a big weekend series coming up. Looking ahead here in just a moment, we're going to talk about the Monroe Moccasin series that's coming up for this team, and of course, the stretch run down the playoffs here. Stay tuned. We will be back with more of head coach Gary Graham. I'm Tom Callahan, and this is IceCats Insider.
But we back. Let's go. Out in London, that's my team. Slide through streets, help box some beans. In the streets, the life get crazy. Falling asleep, my eye get lazy. Ain't got on my side, it's forever. Don't come run if you dance with the devil. even through the rainy weather. Me and the brother, we stick together.
Don't know if I'm red or blue like Manchester. 12 on my bone that the phone up Leicester. Men got too many bars like a cliff. Tofi and Tommy, we doing it diff. Had to medicate, roll up a spliff. Ganja stank, I can't even sniff.
Open the scat with a wristlet diff. Funny banter instead of
Welcome to Zapata's, your best choice for authentic Mexican food. Whether you want to stop by for brunch or bring your whole family in for Taco Tuesday, our restaurant offers excellent Mexican cuisine with premium ingredients and artful presentations made by our master chefs. 2 locations to serve you in Florence and in Hartsville. Order online at zapatasrest.com. Pata's Grill Mexican Restaurants. Good food, always fresh. For more than 85 years, Tomlinson Sales Company has proudly served customers across South and North Carolina. As a proud partner and the official outlet store of your Pee Dee IceCats, stop by to check out exclusive IceCats merchandise, plus an ever-changing inventory that makes Tomlinson a must-stop destination. Visit them at 1309 East Palmetto Street in Florence and discover the Pee Dee's hometown store. Tomlinson Sales Company, where great service, trusted brands, and community pride come together. That's Tomlinson Sales Company, 85 years strong and still serving the Carolinas.
Life happens on your floors, but when dirt, spills, and messes take over, it's time to call the experts. Stanley Steamer of Florence provides a deep cleaning technology that removes dirt and allergens, leaving your floors fresh and spotless. Breathe easier and enjoy a cleaner, healthier home with Stanley Steamer. Call or visit us online today. Stanley Steamer, your home deserves it.
No matter which sport clips you walk into, you'll know it's special. And just for you. Our stylists don't guess your best cut. They are experts in men's and boys' hair. Our cutting zone has all the basics and specialized equipment. From our comfortable cutting chairs to an array of specialized cutting tools and clippers. We got you covered. Visit Sport Clips of Florence today, located at 1940 Hoffmeyer Road, Suite D. We are the pros in men's hair.
Southco Commercial Curb Appeal is the trusted partner for businesses in Florence and surrounding areas that want to maintain a clean, safe, and attractive commercial properties. With our wide range of services, from sweeping and landscaping to snow and ice treatment, we're here to ensure your property remains in pristine condition all year long. Southco Commercial Curb Appeal. Experience the difference.
Known for his integrity, attention to detail, and client-first approach, Sean Austin builds lasting relationships based on trust and results. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer, a seasoned investor, or looking to sell your current home, Sean combines local expertise with strong negotiation skills to deliver a seamless experience from start to finish. Austin and Associates at RE/MAX Professionals. Your next address is just a slap shot away. Go IceCats!
Hey, let's go.
Welcome back here on IceCats Insider. Tom Callahan, IceCats head coach Gary Graham. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate you being alongside with us here as we took a look back at 4 games in 5 days, a weekend sweep of the Columbus River Dragons, and the magic number now for this Pee Dee IceCats team is 14 points. Any combination of 14 points between Pee Dee winning and Twin City losing will clinch that 4th and final playoff spot in the Continental for the Pee Dee IceCats. Now, it's worth mentioning Athens at 107, Monroe at 102 coming into the weekend, Columbus at 87. All 3 have clinched playoff spots. Also, Gary, folks are hearing this on a Monday. You and I are talking on a Monday. Tuesday is Monroe and the Athens Rock Lobsters. That's going to be a really big matchup before they come here on Friday. So 1 versus 2, I'm sure a lot of FPHL fans are going to watch that one. And probably you and I are at least going to give it a casual once-over to see exactly how that one goes.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be watching it. I'm sure most of the guys will be too, since we don't play on Tuesday nights. It'll be, it's always, they've been some good games. When Athens went there a few weeks ago, they were both very close games. I think shootout win the one night for Athens, and then the second game, Monroe was in really good control of it. And again, Athens came from behind in the third period, like they've done so many times to us this year, and ended up winning the game. But they're very, very evenly matched. And so I think, for us, watching that, is going to be interesting. But, our team's constructed differently than Athens. I think our matchup will be a little bit different than their matchup with them, and how things shape up. Our kind of attack plan against them might be a little bit different than Athens from what their coach sees against Monroe. And what I see, I've been in the film room this morning looking at, film on Monroe and seeing, what a good hockey team. I mean, I think Jay Group's done a heck of a job this year as a first-year head coach over there. And, he's done a good job. They got a very talented team, and they got some players that I'm familiar with from the SPHL that I coached against that got a lot of respect for. Their captain I had years ago, Frank Schumacher, a great guy. And, they're just very well put together. There's not a lot of weakness in their team, so they really are fast, up tempo, up ice team. They really get on top of you. They take away time and space quickly. So, we just got to be on our toes and ready to go.
It's interesting looking at this team. They've got, meaning looking at Monroe, 7 players actually with 40 or more points. 4 of those players have 60 or more points. So, I mean, generally, I feel like teams have 1 or 2 guys where you can say, oh, that's the guy, that's the one that's probably going to hurt you. And I recognize a similar thing with Pee Dee, but the scoring is very well distributed throughout this roster. It's not just a matter of stopping one line or one particular player or a combo. I mean, you really have to respect the entire roster.
Well, this is exactly where we were talking at the beginning of the segment about our third line, right? Like Athens the entire season, Binghamton the entire season, Monroe the entire season. These teams have had 3 lines that can score. Again, like we've said it till we're blue in the face. And what we've been trying to address is we've had 2 lines that can score and generate offense, but our third line, they haven't hurt us, but a lot of times they haven't helped us a lot either offensively. So that's where, again, we've known the entire season, looking at the bigger picture, that in order for us to have, bigger picture success, we have to address that. And that's why we've been fighting so hard behind closed doors, to get players in here that we feel that can give us that depth that we need to compete down the stretch with the Athens and the Monroes and Columbus. You take a look at Twin City, the team that we're competing with for the playoff spot. They've been just like us. They've had 2 lines the whole year. And if you look at their roster, they've been trying to get a third line the whole year, and that's been their Achilles heel. So, the 2 teams that are fighting for this last playoff spot are actually very similar, and we have the same type of things, and they've been trying to do the same things we've been trying to do down the stretches, get more depth with their D-core, which they've done, Twin City, that is, I'm talking about it, and also with their forward group. The Gus Ford, they essentially netted 5 good hockey players for Gus Ford. Well, Harry did that for a reason. It was to get, to give up a good piece, to get more players that can help out on a broad spectrum of his depth chart. So, those moves, I think, are going to help, both of us down the stretch. Even though they didn't get the result that they wanted over the weekend, Twin City, I think that overall they're a deeper team and a more dangerous team down the stretch.
How tough is it as a coach to make a move like that, to make a Gus Ford level trade, a guy who is just a pillar for those Twin City fans and franchise? Gary, have you ever had to do that in your career? And what was that like if you did?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've done it multiple times. It's never easy. I mean, you look at the fans this year, the fans, they fall in love with guys so quickly down here. I mean, because it's a first year team, I remember Alexander Ray. I mean, the guy barely played any minutes for me at all. And Razor's a great kid off the ice, but I mean, barely played at all. I mean, at all for me, was hurt a lot. And I remember, having a lot of fans blow up my Facebook personal message is just madder than a hornet, when he got released. And it's been, quite often this year, and fans get passionate about players. I get it. You know what I mean? But, Gus Ford is a completely opposite situation. I mean, Gus has been a big part of all that success, three years going to the finals and stuff. But there was some background, of course, Rudder there, the coach there, and Rutsy there in Athens brought him to Carolina when he was the Carolina coach. And, Rutsy is very close with the ownership group there in Carolina. I think that's why, I think Carolina did a great job for their fan base. They've been ridiculing their coach, which I think is very unfair. I mean, I think he did a great job in what he got for Gus. I mean, getting 5 quality players is unbelievable. I mean, realistically unbelievable. And they got quality players too. And young prospects that could be there for the next year or two. So I think it was good for both teams. It's just, the fans, when you fall in love with a star player, it's always hard to see him go. But, this is the way the business works. And my first year in Fort Wayne, I actually traded my captain. I named him captain, and then I traded him at Christmas time. It wasn't easy, but after I made that move, we turned things around. I named a different player captain. He got control of the room, made a couple other moves, and we were the second hottest team in the league going into the playoffs the back half of the season. So, as a coach, sometimes they work out for you, and sometimes they don't.
I'm sure that's not always, fans. I don't mean this the wrong way, fans, but I mean, sometimes they get it in their head that, oh, this is my darling angel favorite player, and this is my guy, and he could do no wrong. And I mean, it's just different, Gary, and it's hard to explain sometimes.
Well, so we love our fans. Like I said, I mean, absolutely. We have an unbelievable fan base for a first year team. But I think the one thing for the fans that are listening is that there's things besides the play. Of course, when they interact with the player, they're seeing a certain version of that player, right? And the players are all great personality. They're all great in the community and all that stuff. But there's things also, about, and I use the analogy, you could be one way, away from your workplace, but guess what? When you get into your workplace, you could be a different person, right? The way you interact with your workers, the way that, the work ethic that you have, there could be different things that go into it that the fans don't see. So, there's always certain things that, and of course, as a locker room, we're never going to get those things out of our locker room. I mean, the moves happen for a reason, and that's all the fans need to know is that we do things that's always in the best interest of our locker room and of our culture that we're trying to make, and we're trying to ultimately win the most hockey games for our fan base. And some trades are way tougher than others, and frankly, some are easier than others. So it's just the way the nature of the business goes. But I think the fans get a good feeling that the ownership and Nick and I, we want nothing but success for this community, nothing but success for our group. And I think that all these moves have really gone in the right direction for us.
Well, and that's the alchemy in it, right? Is trying to bring in this mix of personalities, because every time you bring in somebody, you really don't know how it's going to work out and what it's going to look like. It could go one of two ways. One is good and one is not so good.
Well, that's where the experience of me doing this for so many years comes into play, because when you're making moves at the trade deadline, you're bringing guys in, the most important thing is you want a good hockey player, but you need to make sure his off ice, his personality is going to mesh with your room. That is the most important thing. You can't take a flyer on a guy midpoint in the season that he maybe is a skilled player, but if he's got some potential character issues that some coaches have said, doesn't fit in, doesn't buy in, is kind of aloof, keeps to himself, this or that. There's certain things that you do not want to take a risk on. You could, when you're building your team during the summer, you can always take a flyer on a guy and then try to get him into your room, see if you can maybe change him, see if you can make it work. And then, of course, then you can always, if it doesn't, you got plenty of time to make a decision. At the beginning of the season, you could do that, but you do not want to be risking that stuff in these critical moments. So, again, all the guys that we brought in check the most important box. The most important box. Is he a gym guy? Does he work hard? Is he good in the locker room? Is he a good teammate? Those have to be boxes that are checked. Of course, we want a good hockey player too, resume, experience, all that. But all the guys we brought in checked all those boxes, hence the reason why it's gone pretty good so far.
Well, and hopefully continued success when it comes to getting everything to mesh and to gel. Gary, just a few minutes left.
Hey, you can call me whatever you want, Tommy.
Except late for dinner, right?
I'm never late.
There you go. So as we got a couple of minutes left here, I just combined Just and Gary. That's what happened, folks. My brain gets ahead of itself, as we all found out when I couldn't do anything but laugh at the Frolov fight. That was something, wasn't it?
Which was a great call. Which was a great call, by the way. Something I've never seen. We talked about it afterwards. Have you ever seen in all the games you've coached and all the games you've called? For me, coach, or you call, have you ever seen that type of a takedown? And again, I've never have seen it, and I don't think you have either.
No, I never have. And it was so fast. It was almost cartoonish how quickly it happened. And it was hard to believe. But I mean, Frolov knew what he was doing. He just spun around, was behind him, and that was that.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And Frolov told me he took 6 to 8 years when he was younger of jiu-jitsu. So that was just it rolled into a natural reaction. You could see it was a very natural reaction for him in that heated moment. I don't think it was anything that was planned, of course, but it just is the way it ended up working out. So.
Yeah. And it certainly made it very amusing for us. And we absolutely loved it. So that was fun. You know what? Those are the things that I love about live sports as entertainment, because literally, and fans, you guys know this by now, but you never know what you're going to get on a given night. Sometimes it's going to make you laugh. Sometimes it's going to, make you shout and with excitement and joy. And sometimes you're going to be angry about it. But man, that's the beauty of live sports, is just complete unpredictability.
Oh, yes. I agree 100%. I used to listen to, Harry Carey called the Cubs games as a kid. And he was a beauty. You never knew what was going to come out in his reactions and the comedy flair that he had, of course. But I thought you did a great job, and I know it's gone viral. So, kudos to you.
That's fun. People, my phone's not ringing yet, so I don't know. Could have gone that far, but we'll see. We'll see. These kids these days. So Gary, we talked about Monroe coming up here, but I mean, down the stretch, to have this team where they are right now, not only competing, but in a playoff spot and in charge of that destiny, right? If you take care of business, you're in. I mean, if I'd have said, hey, this is where you're going to be in March. I know there's a lot of different ways you can go with this, but would you take this? Would you have been satisfied with knowing that this could have been the outcome?
Yes, I would actually, just because, we knew going into it, there was a lot of unknown at the beginning of the season with, again, a lot of guys coming from all different types of teams, backgrounds, new coach, new city, new everything. You're going to be working through it. It wasn't a first year program, but again, when I went over to China and coached that team, it was very similar, where we kind of had to work through it, made some trades kind of around Christmas time, brought some good players in and played a lot better down the stretch. Same thing in Fort Wayne, my first year, we had, I already talked about how to trade a captain, trade some key skill guys that were kind of issues in the room, got quality guys back, good character guys, was able to figure it out that way. I've been in this situation before, so I'm comfortable in kind of seeing it. I feel where we're at right now with I think the room, it's got a good pulse in there. The guys are really competing hard for one another. They're getting tight as a group. But as we talked about, we're in control of our destiny, but nothing's easy with our schedule. You get Athens back to back, and it's just been that way the whole year. We're going to get challenged, and the best thing is, I told the guys is, when we make the playoffs, it's going to feel so good because we've had to earn it. We got to earn it the hard way. There's nothing that's going to be given to us, and that's the beauty of this thing is that we should need to earn it as a first year team. And, it's just been fun to watch the guys battle and compete and learn through a game like Wednesday where we stink it up and watch them learn from it and come back stronger from it. And, now we just can't, be high on our, we want to be confident going into the weekend, but we got to understand, like, we got to reset. We need 2 hard days of practice to get ready for a very good Monroe team and put the work boots back on.
Absolutely. And, man, it's so nice to be in charge of your own destiny coming down the stretch here. No, the schedule's not easy. No, you're going to see Columbus again on that last weekend, and they're circling that one already. And then you got Monroe this weekend, and you've seen Athens a million times already this year. But in a way, I mean, the team has been forged in fire, if you will. You haven't had a schedule laden with a bunch of bottom dwellers. You've really had to battle to get to this point.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, we got Monroe this weekend, and that's why we had to take care of business so much. Twin City has Biloxi 3-3. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on anybody right now, but they traded a lot of guys at the trade deadline. They're not very deep. They're very young right now, and frankly, they've been teams have been taking care of them pretty easily lately. So Twin City's got a very favorable weekend, 3-3 against Biloxi. That's not played for much right now. So and then we got a team like Monroe, very quality team that's coming in. So we're not looking for help from Twin City. Yeah, it was nice that Athens helped us out. Don't get me wrong, but we know that we have to keep continuing to take care of business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this one here on this edition of IceCats Insider. And Gary, as always, appreciate your time here, and looking forward to also renewals coming down here for season tickets very soon. So want to encourage all our fans to hop in early on that one. And man, get on board for this playoff push. It's going to be an awful lot of fun down the stretch.
Yeah, I just want to say to the listeners, please, like Tommy said, I think, the season ticket renewals are a big thing for our organization. It really helps catapult me and Nick into the off season to get that momentum to start doing our recruiting and start building momentum right away after our playoff run here and hopefully a championship. But it really does help catapult everything. And so the more that we can get earlier, the better off we are, the more resources we have during the summer to go out to those high-end players. So it all definitely ties in directly. And of course, hopefully once we make our playoff punch our ticket, get those playoff tickets right away.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that as well. And believe me, we will be trumpeting that one from the mountaintops when it happens. So, all right. Well, my thanks to Gary Graham for joining us here this week. And my thanks as always to you, the fans, you guys. We love having you tuning in, and we will talk to you Friday and Saturday night at home, 7:15 on the puck drop. Tickets are on sale right now. By the way, if you go to Ticketmaster.com and you put in the promo code IceCat, ICECAT, it'll get you 25% off on those tickets for the upcoming weekend. So let's sell it out. Let's pack the building at the Florence Center, and we will talk to you then. Thanks for joining us for IceCats Insider.
Ding dong.
Mountain dude?
The mountain is calling.
Give me a mountain, lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing mountain dew. Yeah, give me the sunshine, give me a dew.
In the heart of Florence, South Carolina, discover Palmetto Smiles, where artistry meets advanced dental care, led by Dr. Brian Sang. Dr. Sang is a highly trained implant and cosmetic dentist, dedicated to transforming smiles with advanced techniques. He's committed to continuing education and bringing the latest methods to every patient. At Palmetto Smiles, comprehensive dentistry is under one roof: general care, restorative solutions, TMJ therapy, delivered with compassion. Ready for a healthier, more beautiful smile? Call 843-203-5155 or visit palmettosmiles.com. Dr. Brian Sang and his team can't wait to welcome you.
Welcome to Seminar Brewing, where craft beer meets culinary delight. Located at 551 West Lucas Street in the heart of Florence, we offer an unforgettable experience for beer enthusiasts and food lovers alike. Pair your favorite brew with our mouth-watering menu. Our kitchen serves up everything from savory snacks to hearty meals, all crafted to complement our beers perfectly. Seminar Brewing. Taste the difference that local passion makes.
Gorget is a local craft distillery based in Lugoff, South Carolina, producing rum, vodka, whiskey, and bourbon in small batches. Founded in 2015 by 3 local gentlemen, Gorget has a fine line of handmade, local spirits. No matter what you desire, we have something for you. Isn't it about time you revolutionize your spirit? Visit us online at gorgetdistilling.com.